Good afternoon and welcome back to Black Press USA Live. Someone once wrote the following about our special guest. They said, Sinbad never tells jokes. I don't know. I don't know any, he admits, but he rather stalks the stage telling real life stories. He doesn't deliver payoff lines, he slam dunks them. His comedy is large, physical, and impetuous. Psychologically, he jams us, poking holes in our lifestyles. His stories mirror our foibles. His explosive energy of the neighborhood, his phrasing is manic, musical, and right on time. He doesn't write his material, he relives it and he remembers it. Comedian, artist, producer, and really, he's a musician too. Welcome to Black Press USA, Sinbad.
What's up, man? How y'all doing? What's going on? What's going on with the black press? With the black press. I know right now it's got to be crazy. It's got to be crazy being the black press nowadays.
The original Black Press, Sinbad, as our
I know.
chairperson, Karen Carter Richards says, the original Black Press.
Man, now what is it? What is it? Okay, I got to ask y'all a question. How have you guys evolved? What year was Black Press when your company was started? What year was
That's
that?
a great question, Sinbad. 193 years ago, before the end of slavery, our founders were in New York, Freedom
Man,
Journal. They said, we wish to plead our own cause because too long others have spoken for us.
man, you know how crazy that is? That before slavery ended, that you had the nerve to have a voice. Do you know how dangerous that was to say that we're going to have a voice? And that's why I try to tell young cats. I'm so glad they're involved in the protest. But we've been speaking up when we could die from day one. We've been doing stuff when we could die from day one, so that maybe the next generation could have an opportunity to speak their mind and tell their truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I can only imagine our founding fathers of the Black Press started in the newspaper saying, look, y'all have talked about us and told our story. We're going to tell our own story. I can't even begin to
Cool.
imagine.
Cool, man. Because but think about it, we've been telling our story, and then the thing that saddens me, like I was able to do my career because of Black. I just showed up at a Black Tom Joyner radio station, man. I was hiding outside. I just done Star Search, and I think they were scared of me at first. I had the feathered earrings. My hair was blonde, man. I'm a big
And
old
you're a
tall
pretty
brother
big
standing up.
dude, too.
Yo, man, I'm outside. So I said, maybe I can get it with the smile. See, but then again, crazy people smile a lot too. So you got to be careful of somebody who smiles too much. That's a crazy person. So they finally let me in. He let me hit the radio. I ended up selling 3,000 tickets from doing that morning show. And I just started going to Black radio stations, even when I didn't have a budget, and they would let me in. And then it broke my heart as I see more Black radio stations were sold or became part of conglomerates, or they became syndicated shows. So it wasn't local anymore. And then I saw some of our Black magazines not become Black anymore. And the world changed, man. The world changed, and as it always does, but sometimes not always for the better.
Well, and speaking of the world changing, as you know, Sinbad, as everybody knows, we are in a pandemic. Coronavirus
Uh-huh.
has changed everything, and apparently it's changed it for the good. What are you doing as a stand-up comedian? We know you're an actor and everything else, but from the stand-up perspective, what are you doing to keep it going?
Well, for me, when it first hit, I held out. My first time when it hit, I said, okay, man, I'm probably going to have to get back on the road like in the April, maybe beginning of May. And then I got to April, I called my agent and said, man, let them all go. I said, it's not going to happen. I just started looking down the road. I said, we got a man run this country that's so stupid. He thinks you can drink Clorox bleach. I said, it's the worst man at the worst time for the worst condition. So we got, like I said, when you have a pandemic, whoever your leader is, you got what you got. And that's what we got. But I'm glad this pandemic came, because maybe that's God's way of saying, the only way I can take this fool out is make him look more foolish. And he's been hanging in, and now people finally say, maybe we need to go a different route. So for me, I said, okay, if we're not going to be on the road, I said, well, maybe it's way to do on the road. Maybe I can do drive-in theaters, or maybe we can go outside to perform. But even that takes a lot, even performing outside, because I thought outdoor concerts could still hit. Places where there were outdoor facilities, right. I thought they would jump on it right away. I thought they would say, okay, let's modify right away. But everybody kept waiting. Like, hey, maybe I'll open up. I said, no, man, we gotta move now. Like it might not like open up. So I said, okay, that's not going to happen. Let me see how this thing works online. And I've always, like I said, I'm a tech head. I've been online since 1982, 83. When everybody thought I was crazy, before CompuServe, before AOL was putting all them CDs. I'm talking back in CompuServe days. So I started thinking, well, my comedy, I talk to people like I'm talking to you now. All I need is one person. I don't care if it's a dog, whatever, somebody I can talk to. I can make comedy work. And then I used to use Zoom and there's another one called Blue Jeans for music lessons. So I said, well, this could be the way because I can see people. I still think comics need to see people. I think we need to see people. And I like to hear a little laughter. I don't care if I see you laughing and you're muted. I still know it's working. You know what I'm saying? So, I need a little bit. Just give me a little bit and I'll make it work. But I said, nah, do you charge? Is it free? This is COVID. People broke. So I had to look at price points and I saw, man, the sweet spot is about $5 to $10. 15 is high. 20, you better have 5 superstars with you. So for comedians and people who are known, you have to think the way you used to live and the money you used to charge, you got to let that go. But this way you can still do your craft, still put some money in your pocket. It might not be the money you made, or it's not going to be, it might even save you, but at least you giving it some dignity. Like I found out people do better when you charge them. I don't care if it's $1. People listen, they pay attention more. Free stuff, people just throw it on the ground. It's like those AOL CDs. We'd throw them things on the ground because they were free. You could get them everywhere. So I started trying to figure it out. And I went through I was telling you earlier, I went through every piece of software. I went deep dive. That's what I liked about COVID. I had time. For the first time, I got a 6-year-old grandson. I'm watching him grow up. I've been off the road. It's the first time I've been off the road in 30 years. And I said, okay, my mind gets to work. I get to rest a little bit. Maybe I'm over rested right now. But I'm like, okay, how do I make this work? And I tried it. I did 2 paid shows these past 2 Sundays. Wrong way. It was the wrong software. But I had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But now I think I found a way. I think starting next Sunday, you'll see it, you'll go to all my social media sites, Sinbad Bad, on everything. And I think I found a way to include Zoom with another company I found a way to ticket and get people in and make it just homogenous. So everything's got a synergy, and that's what it takes. How do you get paid? How do people get you the easiest way? If you want to see me in the comedy club, you go to the site, you buy a ticket, come to the show. I had to make it like that.
And you're talking speaking about keeping it 98, correct?
Yeah, keeping it 98, which means ain't nobody got time for 100. That takes too much work. So if I mess up, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm being presidential. Sometimes I'm just wrong. So I keep it 98.
and you're a 90s kind of guy, we know.
Yeah, man. I take it back to 90s is like new school for me. See, my old school is 70s, but now the new old school actually is 90s. But still, that's what people understand. People from my generation, even if you talk about 90s, like, well, Sinbad, it's 90s. I'm still part of that. Y'all don't get it. We go from 60s till now. So I get to jump in every generation. Y'all don't get to cut me out. I'm part of 90s too. Now 2000s, I don't want no part of that. I ain't taking claim for that. Y'all can keep that music. Y'all can keep all that. That's yours. You can have that.
Well, it's interesting, Sinbad. In the 90s, I used to help a friend. He was the president of a travel company called McPherson Travel in Central City.
Yes.
And, they used to book all the travel for the Sinbad Soul Festival. Tell us about your love of music, Sinbad, and
man,
that you jam.
Music is key. If you see, man, music is everything to me, man. Music is, like I say, music is food for your soul. Even though I love comedy, even though comedy is great, I think people leave comedy and music play well together. That's why we got a comedian opening for a music act, and then maybe when the comedy becomes big enough, the music act opens for the comedian. But the two of them together is so spiritual and works so well. And for me, I was a drummer coming up from the time I was in 4th, 5th grade. After I went to college, played basketball. Terrible 4 years. That's a whole nother story. But I played drums. I love music, and I was still going to churches and listen to music. And I go to concerts. I saw Average White Band first time in my life at Regis College in Denver, sneaking through a back door. That's how much I love music. But then 30 years after, I still have my music, but I became a comic. For 30 years, I didn't play anymore. But I put on the festivals. I wanted to see guys. When I put my funk festival together, people thought I was crazy because nobody was doing that. There was nothing out there. And I said, man, I want to do something. And people thought I lost my mind. And I probably did. I lost some money on it, but I don't care because I'm glad I did it. Some things you do and you chalk it up that you did it. But then I started playing again in my 50s. Can you believe that? It took my daughter singing and my son doing this thing. I said, I want to play again. So I got back on drums, and then I went to guitar, and then I started playing the bass, and now I'm trying to play trombone. I'm trying to learn keyboards. I'm trying to do sax, but sax is beating me up. Sax doesn't like me, but I'm not gonna let it beat me. So I'm gonna keep trying.
And you had some of the biggest funk groups that, there was
Dude,
on
I had
that
almost
Sinbad.
all of them. I had almost all of them, Stacey. I almost had everybody. I
Wow.
almost had everybody. Yeah, man.
And,
I'm blessed. I'm blessed
well,
that I got them.
and we're talking about music. I have to talk about Prince. I know you had a great
Yo,
relationship with Prince. I remember you hanging out with Prince. He had a Las Vegas residency
yeah,
in the
at the
2000s.
Rio. At the
You didn't
Rio,
like
man.
that decade, but
Yeah.
you
No,
had
no, because
Prince.
he was still from the other decade. We're playing in this decade. So remember, he's in the 2000s, but he's coming from the other decade. So I'm still cool with that, man. Now, before I get to that, when you asked me about that, I'm gonna ask. There was a question that came up. Do I have new material? Yeah, I always got new material about COVID and the world. I mean, dude, for comics, this is too easy. They're just giving us jokes. We know what's going to happen is when this COVID is over and the protest is over, a lot of comics ain't gonna have no material. There's gonna be some late night talk shows when Trump is gone. You're gonna watch out. The shows are even gonna change. Like, I ain't got nobody stupid to talk about. So you're gonna have to come up with some real stuff. He makes it too easy. And COVID, there's a way to work it as tragic. Tragedy always has comedy. Comedy and tragedy are always interrelated. Comedy and tragedy are always interrelated. So I look at it. Now I'm gonna tell you about the show at the Rio. It's gonna blow your mind, Stacey. Prince had seen my funk festival, my soul festivals, and he was asking me about trying to do this thing. And I didn't really, I just felt like, I don't think he needs me. He said, look, I want to do something in Vegas with the music. I want to be part of it. I said, well, I'll tell you what I did, but you're so stupid, Sinbad. You could have been hanging out at the Rio and maybe opening up and hosting it. But it just, when you get with people like Prince, they're at another level. I call that rare air. The people that were like that, when you sit with them, you kind of know your place without being told it's your place. It was Prince, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Bill Cosby. And when you're in the presence, you were just trying not to be a nuisance. You would just, I don't want to be a nuisance. And when I first met Stevie Wonder, you just don't want to be a nuisance. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to say, and by trying not to be a nuisance, you end up saying stupid stuff. So the best thing is just, yeah.
What could Sinbad have said that was so stupid that would have, turned Prince or Stevie Wonder off?
Well, it's not so much they laugh at you because you stumble.
Okay.
And when I first, Bill Cosby, I couldn't speak. He came around the corner. I'm getting ready to warm up the audience for a different world. I was warming up the audience to sneak and get on the show, so it worked. So he came around the corner, and I had this speech made up. I said, "Hey man, man, so much." And he said, "Boy, are you okay?" He gave me a chance to regroup. You know what I'm saying? And with Stevie Wonder, man, when I first met Stevie, they said, "Man, hey man, Stevie wants to meet you." And I'm like, "Okay." So now, if you know Stevie, you could wait 9 hours for Stevie to get there because I don't think he has a sense of time or whatever. So I'm sitting there, man. It's an hour later, I said, "Man, Stevie Wonder, we're gonna wait." 3 hours later, man, Stevie Wonder. 5 hours later, I said, "Man, you know what? I like the music, man. I gotta go home." So when he walked in the door, first thing I said, "Man, can you not tell time at all? Can you not sense that it's late?" And that was how we started, man.
Amazing. So I want to just briefly go back to Bill Cosby, because was he like a big influence for you, or the biggest influence in comedy for
Man,
you?
biggest influence would be by trifecta. It would be Cosby, it'd be Pryor, Red Fox, even Flip Wilson,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Nipsey Russell. Remember, all these guys I saw growing up. Cos and Rich and Red and Flip. Remember, they all saved the network. Flip saved ABC TV. Red saved CBS. Cosby saved NBC. All these guys were larger than life.
Yeah.
And I said, that's my goal. I want to be larger than life. I don't want to just be funny. I want to leave my mark. And it's a shame that Cosby will be, for young people and even some people not so young, this is what they will remember him for. This is what he will be. And that's why I say we got to be very careful with our legacy, man, and our lifestyles and things, I mean, it's a shame because what he did, one of the smartest men, not comic, smart man, demanded excellence. I saw how he walked in Hollywood. I said, he's beyond them, man. He walks bigger than them, and never apologized for his blackness, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm just letting people know I know the other side. I see the other side. I see what everybody's saying, but I also saw the other side, you know, and I
And to
wouldn't be
your
here.
point, Sinbad, about you know, needing to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, I always say this to folks when we talk about Bill Cosby is
Yep.
don't allow the media. We covered it. We
Yep.
covered both trials. We were there every day. Don't allow mainstream media to tell you about a deposition that they only showed you excerpts. Read it
Yeah.
for yourself.
I was like
Before
this. If you're gonna take him out, have all the facts. I'm not denying anything any woman said. But if
Mhm.
you looked at what was in that deposition, if you looked at what was there, I said, if you're going to, if he deserves to go to jail, then you take him out the right way. Because everybody else is still walking free.
Mhm.
You know, so if he deserves to go to jail, then have all your ducks in a row and you do it that way. And I'm okay with that. Once you if you got all your ducks in a row, then it is what it is. And as a man, we have to pay for what we do. But if you don't have your ducks in a row and you just want to get him, that's not enough for me.
Yeah, our president and CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis, visited Mr. Cosby a few times in prison, and we've actually interviewed him. I've interviewed him from prison, and a couple of months ago we had Miss Camille Cosby on our show as
Uh-huh.
well. Have you had a chance to talk with him, Sinbad?
You know, I get word to him and I get it. I get the chance. I've been trying. I don't think he'll let me come see him. I'm
He don't
trying.
want anybody to come see him.
I don't. He won't let me. He won't let me come see him. He won't let me come see him. And this. And I want to tell people because I want women to get it wrong. Even if a man is guilty, I still think you have a right if you want to go visit him. If he's paying the price, you have. If that was my son or my father, and say my father had murdered a family, and I would be so hurtful what he did to that family, but I would still go visit him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would still go visit because my father, because my brothers, my cousin. Not saying I agree with what they did, but I would still go see them. I don't have to agree with your actions to not go see you. You know, especially if you're paying the price for your actions. You know, that means none of us would go visit our families in jail or prison or any kind of an internment like that. So yeah, man, I would like to go on and talk to him.
Yeah, and Sinbad, you know, you've been on. You've mentioned Red Fox. You've been on the Red Fox show. You've been on the
Yep.
Cosby show. We know you from a different world, house guest. What was the most challenging role for Sinbad?
You know, the most challenging role is always your first role. When I got to Hollywood in '85, man. I did a Star Search, and I came right out here after Star Search, and I'm blessed, man. I went to work right away. The Red Fox show. First, I did a thing called Keep On Cruising. It was a show. Was Stan, God, man, Dragati was doing some. No, Stan did the other show. I did the other movie, Necessary Roughness. It was Bob Giraldi that did the Beat It video. And so I was able to get that movie of the week. But man, when the Red Fox thing, they came after me. I said, oh, to play his son in the new Red Fox show? I said, oh yeah, man, can you act? Man, I had taken an acting lesson. I had done some stuff in the Air Force where I acted in high school stuff, but I had never really taken an acting class. So man, I said, yeah, I can do this. Man, they were all cheering me on. I came to audition and they said, yo, dude, that's the worst audition we ever seen. I said, what? We're trying to give you this part. What is wrong with you? They had to take me upstairs and pre-prep me and said, man, be you. What are you trying to be? I said, well, no, I taken this acting class. I was taking this acting class, and the acting class was this, Sinbad, drink water that's not there. I said, yo, man, look, I got a sitcom I'm going up for. I mean, I understand I'm gonna get to the drinking water that's not there, but can you get me ready to get this sitcom? And he says, do you want to do sitcoms all your life? You want to act? I said, is that a real question? do I want to do sitcoms all my life, or do you want to act? I said, I think I kind of want to do both. I said, I think I'm in the wrong acting class. So they showed me, man, be you, just react. All acting is, I'll never forget, I heard somebody, I think it was Sidney Poitier said, acting is learning how to react, how to take all that stuff that you do anyway. He said, if you've ever lied to your mama, you already acted. If you ever lied to a teacher, you've already acted. I said, oh, I lie a lot. Let me take that technique and bring it in. And then I got the part. And after that, I've been looking for, dude, I'm still looking, Stacey, I'm looking for that thing, the challenger. I'm looking for that thing. I love doing Cherokee Kid because it was about a black cowboys, and HBO didn't know I snuck in all these black cowboy names. So when it was time to film it, I said, you know, these are black cowboys, right? So that was my great sneak right there. But there's so much I want to do. I want to do drama. I want to do all. Dude, I haven't got a chance to work with Denzel. I haven't got a chance to work with all these people I want to work with. I said, y'all gonna let me mess around, be in a wheelchair before I get a chance to do all the stuff I want to do.
So when we see that huge role come about, we're gonna know that Sinbad lied to somebody.
You know what the difference is? I'm writing it myself.
Oh, okay.
I was writing back in the day, and my son's a director, editor, Renaissance man. He says, Dad, nobody can write what you want to do better than you. But ADHD, you know how hard it is to write? I sit like this. I start writing the script. I go, oh, that's another script. I said, oh, that's next thing you know, I got 3 scripts, and I don't finish the ones. But when I go pitch it, they don't know. Now the lie is this: they don't know I didn't write it. I go, is that written? I go, yeah. Can you send us the first draft? I go, yeah. And that's where it ended up laying because I didn't write it. And sometimes I just made it up in my head while I was sitting in the office. So it's a blessing and a curse. So I've got, not during this COVID, I had to learn how to sit and write something down and finish it out rather than go like, here's my thought. Because on stage, I can do that. I can just say, tell a joke about riding my bike when I was 6, and it just comes to me in stories.
Wow, we are with the great Sinbad. This is Black Press USA Live, and a lot of folks are writing in Sinbad. Jalen Pierce, he says hi, and he says good vibes.
Cool, man.
Linda Marcus Smith, love you. We had Alicia Marie, Marie Guest, with Michelle, who's a regular on our program.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Deborah Moore, hello, Sinbad. Ernest Conversion, is that how you pronounce the name? He gives a shout out. He says we have to change the narrative of Mr. Cosby. Chris Coffey gives a shout out. Sinbad, what was it like transitioning from stand up to films?
That's cool. You know, can I do that first? I like that, changing the narrative on Cosby.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think we have to look at it. We have to go into the realness, the deepness, even if it gets ugly. But I can't throw out everything else, you know. So my thing is this: say you hate him now, say you have no respect for him now. Then we have to say, well, how can the cats who aren't supposedly bad people, how can you give $20 million to a college like he gave to Spelman? Can you do that? So my thing is, if you don't agree with his actions, I got it. But can others step up and take the mantle? You know, I look at the positive side, even though we have to deal with all sides of a person. But I'm saying this: so while you're hating on him, what are you doing? What are you doing to step up to fill the void? What are we all doing to fill that void when that voice is gone? That's, I guess, what I'm saying. So
isn't it amazing? I'm sorry, Sinbad. Isn't it amazing how often we hear when a celebrity, such as Bill Cosby, runs into trouble, and you know, like you said, all the good that has been done. But then the first thing you hear is, "Oh, I knew there was something." You believe it right away. I told you something wasn't right with him.
Well, you know what? This is what I think what happened. I'm gonna be honest. This is what I think what happened with Cosby. Cosby could be hard on people. Cosby could be like, "Hey, man, we got to act right. We got to take charge." Remember, he said the new KK was red, black, and green. He was hard on people. He was saying, "Hey," I remember he got an issue where he said we need to quit buying Jordans and everything and take care of education. Now that came in like kind of hard, like a spank, you know, and he was bold enough to say it. And sometimes I thought he might have been too hard on people. I thought, hey man, sometimes you gotta look at life and how do you address it in such a way where they'll listen to you? You know, I look at it that way sometimes. So some people were actually happy. They don't care what it would have been. And then we know in white America, they were so happy to take this giant down. They were giddy. They were almost giddy because this man was the first. He created a way for Jerry Seinfeld to be rich. He created a way for Roseanne Barr to be rich. He created a way for Tim Allen to be rich because remember, sitcoms were dead. Sitcoms, they said, would never come back until he came along. So I have to look at that path of what he brought, but I also have to look at the path of everything else. You know, we also have to look at the dark side. We do this throughout history. We look at great people, but we have to look at a dark side. We say, okay, what is there? And you don't shade it. You don't go like, well, the good overrides the bad. I look at all of it as a collective. But if I'm following in this path, I said, say Cosby's is guilty and all this, I said, okay, cool. But I have to look at what he did right. Can I follow that path? Remember, if you follow a leader, say he wasn't a perfect leader, say there's a leader out there that's leading us in a movement and go, man, he had this dark side. okay, man, I can't go dark. I can't go dark, but I'm gonna take what he did good. I'm gonna take that. It's like watching an athlete. You're watching Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. Okay, I ain't gonna take all that he did. I'll pick and choose. I said, but I'm gonna take some of this other that he did. I'm gonna take this other thing and I'll go that path. That's how I look at life. You know, that's how I look at it.
So again, so what was it like transitioning from stand-up to film, Sinbad?
Oh, I couldn't wait. We all as comics can't wait for the movie. We come out, we don't just want to be a comic, but they know, I know a couple comics that they just want to do stand-up. I do know a couple comics that I just want to be a stand-up. I said, I get that, bro. I get that pureness. I want to do it all. I want to be a producer. I want to be a director. I wanted to write. I want to do, because the holy grail is, can I be funny? And can I be serious? Can I take what I do and transition to film? And it's a scary thought too, because until you do it, you don't know if you suck as an actor or if the comedy doesn't transcend. And when I did my first guest, when I did a house guest, my first thing, dude, when I got the script, I'm gonna be honest, the script was like, I said, man, this ain't 48 hours. This ain't Bad Boys. I'm like, man, wait a minute. Where's my Bad Boys? You know? So I said, okay, man, instead of griping, let me find a way. So, and I know I'm my man that directed it, Larry, and his girlfriend at the time wrote it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna come to set and I'm gonna kind of finesse it. I told Phil Hartman, I'm gonna finesse some of the stuff, and not that it's written bad. I said, why have Sinbad here? It's like, why would you have Michael Jordan here and have a set play, or LeBron James and say, wait a minute, I got LeBron James. We can throw that play out and just get a ball to LeBron. Let's see what he does with it, and we'll rewrite some new stuff around him. You know? Right. So I looked at it, I said, well, and I knew it was going to rub people the wrong way, and you're going to be called hard to work with. That's the misnomer they give to a black comic. You're hard to work with. That can mean either you're a drug addict or you just know how to make it funnier. It carries a wide range of implications. When they say somebody has an attitude, that's why I said, I need to meet him first. You say he has attitude. I don't know. Maybe he just knew what he wanted, and you got pissed at that. So when I got there and I started changing lines, like, whoa, I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna be doing this every day. and I didn't know if I was messing up. And I know the director was mad. They called the producer, man, Joe Roth, you know, from the studio, came out, and they called, and he came to, he landed in the airport. We was doing this in the airport while I'm running with the hamster, and I'm doing stuff, and he still had his clothes with him. And he said, wait a minute, is this what they called me about? I said, yeah. He said, man, keep doing that. He got back on the plane and went back. I said, I'm good. I said, I'm good. And once I knew I was good, I was able to be, it gave me it made me run faster.
Yeah.
It means I was making the right choices.
Yeah. You talked about Red Fox. You talked about Richard Pryor. You came up in that era, of course. But, you know, I've heard you tell this story, too, about you're not using profanity. How did that start? I think you mentioned that it had something to do with your dad or someone in the audience.
My mom and dad, mainly. You know, what it is this. When I started as a comic, you know, when you start, I was in the military. It was a military talent show, so you can't curse in a military talent show. It's kind of funny. Military people curse a lot, but then that perception, whenever they do something, it's got to be clean. Now we're here killing people and cursing and carrying weapons. Oh, but let's not for the people. Let's show them the clean cut person. I said, okay, all right. But I won this. I mean, I set a record in this Air Force competition. I got kicked out the military, so now I'm doing stand up. Now, when I first started doing stand up, you know, I wasn't totally clean. I don't call it clean or dirty. I had conversation. I just talk like people talk. Now there's what people I thought would call dirty was when Red Fox was doing talking dirty after dark, and Red Fox and Richard was clean when he started. People don't know that. Richard was a Bill Cosby prototype. As Richard said, I did Bill Cosby better than Bill Cosby did Bill Cosby. But he wasn't being true to himself. You know, that his life, being purious, living in a whole house. I mean, dude, he said, if anybody earned the right to be dirty, was Richard Pryor. You know what I'm saying? If anybody earned the right to be dirty, was Red Fox. If anybody earned the right to be dirty, was Bill Cosby, where he's from in Philly. So people don't know that. He made a choice, I think, because of his mom. But I was clean, and I was dirty, and my dad came to see me early on in my career at a show in Chicago. I think it's Comedy Cottage. And all the comics, everybody was trying to be Richard Pryor. Everybody was a bass. Everybody was on the everybody was trying to be Richard Pryor. Everybody was a bad version of Richard Pryor. My dad was sitting there. He took the brunt from all these comics calling, hey, are you a pimp? White comics, my dad's a preacher. He's sitting in front. How you look like a pimp? It was that stock joke that white comics would do back then. So I walked on stage. I said, this man no pimp. This my dad's a preacher. I said, a pimp? I said, look at this white dude. He looked like a pimp to me. So I cleaned it up, but I didn't let nobody know it was clean. I kept my edge. I said, I'll keep this edge. So people didn't pick up I wasn't cussing. I said, if I can keep this edge, I said, but you know what? I'm gonna go back to cursing when my dad leaves. And this woman walks up to me and said, and I hated it. She says, oh my God, I'm glad you were clean. I could watch the show. I said, oh, no. Don't let me be the one. I don't want to be the one. Oh God, don't let me be the one. Because see, everybody thought that was, oh, you were clean, but I loved you. I said, no, I knew in Hollywood, they would take it me as not having fire, not having controversial people walking. When I got to Hollywood, that's when the thing changed. I'm on the road. Ain't nobody going, he's a clean comic. They're going, Sinbad crazy. I love Sinbad. I got to Hollywood. They said, what kind of Negro is he? Is he a good Negro or is he bad Negro? What Negro box do we put him in? Oh, the Bill Cosby box or the Richard Pryor box? Although they're both the same to me. They're both equally funny. They're both bad in their own right. So they end up going, oh, he's squeaky clean. He's an All-American. He's America's dad. I said, y'all just killed my career. Y'all just killed me. Y'all just killed me with that. Don't you describe me. And then I would have meetings with them. And then the meeting they would leave. Oh, he's militant. He's not. I said, oh, I wasn't a good Negro. It's like, James Baldwin, I'm not your Negro, man. I'm not your Negro. Wow. So don't put me in that trick bag.
Wow. You've shared a lot about the art side of your career. Can you share a little bit about the business side of the entertainment business for Sinbad?
No one's ready. None of us that come out here understands the business side. The one that probably understood the most because he was 15 when he started was Byron Allen. Byron Allen is probably one of the smartest businessmen, actor, comedians that I know. But I think when you're really, 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 really good at business sometimes, I think your comedy kind of suffers because you almost become a producer. Like you end up going that route because if you know so much about it, I think you lose some of your edge. I like how rappers become businessmen, but a lot of times when they become that great businessman, you don't see his next album anymore, or the next album doesn't have that fire, but you become a great record person, a great record deal, making records, and you might do that album every now and then. You got to find that fire. Like, you're still talking about being from the hood, brother. You living in Beverly Hills, you living up in New Jersey. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. I like what Ice-T once said, man, quit talking about that. Man, you ain't no gangster no more, man. That's why we live where we live. That's why we live in a gated community. So you still got the qualities in you, but you're trying to get away from that. Yeah. For me, the business side, when I came out here, when I did my first sitcom, dude, I almost had fist fights. I had anger come up in me I hadn't seen in me since college. Because I didn't realize that when you do a show, you got to bring your team. You got to bring your team that fights for you so you don't go in there and go crazy on people, because it scares them. So I didn't understand that at the time. I didn't understand that people that do comedy sometimes don't have a single funny bone in their body. Sometimes writers that write for you don't have anything funny about them. They're good writers. They're like, I call them the strange cats sometimes, but doesn't mean they can't be a good writer. It doesn't mean they can't write for your show. I think every first sitcom for every comic, you almost lose your mind. Roseanne Barr did it. Roseanne started giving writers numbers so she wouldn't know their names. Is Martin? We all talk about it. I said that first sitcom. I just did the show with Rel, and Rel said, I said, Rel, the first show you find out who your friends are, who aren't your friends. But when you're young, you're ready to fight. I said, I'm different now at 60, even when I got in my 40s, you go about it different. You look at the business different. I'm like this. Okay, I get it. You don't get me. You don't even have to like me. There are people who give you work that don't even like you because they think you can make them money.
Right.
I learned people that work with you don't have to like you. I just need that opportunity. Let me take it and run with it. So that's the difference. The business side, this time around, because for me, there's going to be a second win. My business side is I know how to approach this without losing my mind. I know what battles I want to fight because you'll fight them every day if you react to the words, because that's how simple this business is. That's how silly it is. But you can't let that get in the way of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we're talking to the great Sinbad. This is Black Press USA Live. Sinbad, we talked before going on the air about verses. And we're thinking about what about a comedy? What would a comedy versus look like? Sinbad versus who? Or how would you how do you see that unfolding?
We used to talk about see, for me, we verses, it would be like a roast or the dozens, and that doesn't mean a person's a better comic. Versus with music is, I'm putting my music against your music. I'm putting my song against your song, and you're looking at your track record. With comedy, you can't like, here's that joke I told, here's that joke you told, because nobody wants to hear old jokes anymore. So what, to me, if I was versing with first of all, you don't go against George Wallace. George Wallace knows 3,000 your mama jokes. George Wallace has memorized 10,000 jokes. You don't mess with George Wallace. Get destroyed trying to mess with George Wallace. But what I would do, there's my man Paul Provenza has a thing called set list. You go on stage and they have all these comics on stage, but the audience can see they put a set behind you, a set list, a joke, a routine to do. The audience sees it first, then you turn around and look at it, and you got to go like it's your joke. And they always try to mess me up. They put the dirtiest stuff, and dude, I throw the dirtiest stuff back at them, and the crowd freaks out. I said, please, man, y'all act like I'm a little kid. That don't mean nothing to me. I said, you want to see me do it clean? I'll take the same thing and I'll do it clean. Like I told comics, I'll take your dirtiest joke and make it clean. I'll take your dirtiest joke and make it dirtier. To me, it's about comedy. So a comic versus would be two comics in the ring and then the audience throwing stuff. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. Cosby and I did that on stage one time in Vegas. And man, I was doing the show in Vegas. I'm about to go on stage in 30 minutes. He says, hey man, come over to my show. I said, well, Bill, I got to do a show in 30. Come on over. He don't take. I said, all right. I said, I guess I'll be late for my show. So I drove over this show. He goes, I want you to go on stage. You do your Mike Tyson joke, and then I'll do my Mike Tyson joke. He said, hey, man, and don't you do a weak one. Don't you feel sorry for me. I will know. He hates that. Don't you sit there. And I was like, oh man, I can't out joke Bill Cosby. How this gonna look? So Bill told his joke. And then I told my joke. Boom! He said, "Man, get off my stage. Go do your show." Bill was never scared of how fun you were. When I say, the reason I keep saying him over and over, when I did the Bill Cosby show, where he was a car salesman, dude, I was holding back. But then we were taking a break. I started clowning. He said, "Boy, give me that. Boy, give me that." And he freed me to be funny. He freed me to be funny. So that I appreciate that. But a comedy versus, ooh man, comedy versus. If we did it that way, I would do it. But I'm not interested in your mama jokes or like, Sinbad, you so light, you light bright. I said, oh man, you so dark, because that depends on me tearing you down. If you look at music versus, it's about throw me your best music, then throw me your best music. Like, damn, you're right, that song was hot. That's how I look at it, man.
Yeah. Is there a comic? Is there a comic today? I mean, I know Eddie and those guys are still around, not discounting them, but is there one particular comic, if you could work with any comic today on a movie or like you said, stand up, invite them to your show, or they didn't come to your show, who would that be?
Well, we did it on stage. We had been on stage since he was 15, maybe 17 years old, was Dave Chappelle. I gave him his first, he opened for me at the Warner Theater. My brother said, man, this is a young comic that's doing comedy. And we actually asked, I think it was a mom's grandma, to go on the road with me way back in the day, dude. Wow. It was Dave Chappelle. I said, bro, you're going to be different than anybody ever seen. Most comics are trying to boom, boom, boom. He wasn't scared. I keep saying it. Cosby said, don't be scared of quiet moments as you're building the joke. He's a master of that. Chappelle's like that. He'll build the moment so you got time to think, and he throws it at you. Everywhere out your mouth don't have to be funny, as long as you pay it off. As long as you pay it off. And I would love to work. Chappelle and I were at the God, was it the Underground? Whatever. Man, club I had been to in 30 years. I had been to in 30 years, Comedy Underground. 30 years. Elsa still running the place. Chappelle walks in, so we start talking, but all the young comics like this, how Chappelle, what's that combination? They couldn't get it. It was messed them up. What was the combination of me and Chappelle? They didn't know our history. And they said, well, y'all want to do something together? Somebody want to go first? I said, well, let's just go on stage together at the same time. So Chappelle and I were on stage, almost like the person. People was talking to us in the audience, and we were just going back and forth, doing stand-up and doing things. And it was fun. It was fun.
And we know Dave Chappelle definitely marches to the beat of his own drum. He walked away from $50 million at one point.
Yeah, man. I don't know if he knew he's walking away. I think there's more to the story. I think, and if I always told him, man, I wish I could have got you before you went to Africa. He didn't realize he owned Fox. I mean, he owned Comedy Central, owned them. It was the Chappelle show that made, once again, that's another brother that saved the network. Chappelle saved Comedy Central. My son had me look at it. Dad, you need to watch Chappelle. I said, I know Dave Chappelle. You need to watch this. I'm sitting there watching with my son. I said, oh man, this show is crazy. So I looked at the freedom he had on that show. All he had to do was go into Fox, to Comedy Central on a Friday and say, hey man, because they said, we want you, he said, I want to do something different. I'm not going to do, he realized when he was doing the Rick James joke, sometimes we got it, but white people didn't get the greatness of Rick James, so he said, maybe I'm going to switch it up a little bit. He said, not much, he was going to switch it up a little bit. And then all he had to do was go on a Friday. This is what I'm going to do. I'll see you Monday. And they would have done it.
Wow.
He owned it like that. They would have done it.
COVID-19, we were talking about the coronavirus earlier. It kind of hit close to home, right? D.L. Hughley. What was that like to see one of your brothers in comedy go down the way he went down so publicly? I mean, he's recovered now, and we're happy to say, but what was that like?
Which one was it? Hughley?
D.L. Hughley. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we ever saw him go down. Remember, he never looked. See, he didn't have the mask on. You never saw him sitting in. You never saw him in the hospital. Hey man, it's D.L. Hughley. So his system. So he must have a strong resolve. He was positive, but remember, he didn't get sickly. You can see it in his eyes. He just looked tired. He looked like an exhausted comic who'd been on the road, for the time we had. So he's blessed in that sense. He was blessed that was the worst. That the worst was he fell off stage, publicly. That's we're comics. We fall off the stool publicly. That's a joke. We're not like a singer who got to go like, hey man, y'all saw me. No, we're like, yeah, y'all saw me fall. Like Richard Pryor. Yeah, you saw me have a heart attack. We just take it and make it and share part of our life. But he did show comics on the road, dude. This thing is real. Now, I think Rodney Perry just had COVID-19, and I understand there's 4 or 5 more comics who might have been out there to have it. And now the clubs don't want to talk about it. But I've been telling people, I treat everybody like they have COVID-19 and treat me like I got it. You have to look up on it. Even if they say, hey man, I've been quarantining. Yeah, all right. I need you back up. I trust no one. I trust no one, man. Nobody.
Is there other comics in your family, Sinbad?
My family is funny, man. My brother, who was my manager, Mark, is funny. My sister Dawnn is funny. My sister Dorothea is funny. Man, my whole family, and my daughter Paige, who sings and writes, she's funny. But nobody wants to be a comic in the footsteps of the father who's a comic. So but she should be doing like sketch shows because she's funny. My son Royce has got this wicked humor. The one's the director, he got this wicked humor, man. He's funny, man. My youngest daughter, Jim, she's in Arizona. She's funny. She's crazy. So yeah, it's in everybody's blood to not take themselves so seriously.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you that too. How important is that, especially for comics, not to take yourself too seriously?
Man, the saddest sight is when you see a comic have somebody in the audience burn them on a good thing, get you, and you get pissed. And then they go like, wait a minute, he got thin skin? Then it's like fake. You ain't as cool as I think. I'm like this. As somebody dings me in the audience, I know they probably been waiting for this. They done had this little thing in their pocket for 20 years. I give you love, like, okay, but that was good. That's good. Now I'm about to get you. But that was good. And I give people that, man. I give them that. I don't, you can't have thin skin as a comic. You got to be very careful when you're making jokes about people or making a lot of situations that somebody gets you got to take the hit, man.
Yeah, we saw an example of that some years ago, right? The Seinfeld actor Michael Richards at the Comedy Store. Totally.
Yeah, that was beyond thin skin. That was beyond thin skin. I was there, dude. I had not been to that comedy club in 25 years, I think. I had not been there. I had just walked in.
Wow.
I had just walked in, was talking to the owner, and I looked up on stage, and all this pandemonium was going on. I'm like, what the? And then this got interesting to me. I said, what are these young brothers gonna do now? Y'all just heard the N-word used for real. Some of y'all using music. You just heard the N-word used for real for the first time. You know who got up first and left? White people in the audience and Spanish people. I said, and everybody else was outside. I said, y'all let him leave? Sinbad, what you gonna do? I said, oh, I already did my time. I did my time. What are you gonna do? Y'all let him leave out the back door and go? Y'all didn't challenge him? That's what blew my mind, that everybody let him just do this. And I'm sitting in the back. First I thought, is this a routine? But when he lost it, I said, oh, he just lost Jerry Seinfeld so much money. I said, oh, they about to put the DVD out. And then Jerry Seinfeld tried to cover it. Remember they gave a press conference? Everybody knows Michael Richards is a good person. Oh, no, you gotta let that go. You gotta cut your losses on this, man. He gotta go back to black therapy, man. No, he gotta. And the part that made us most mad, we actually liked him. He was funny. I loved him on Friday.
Everybody loved Kramer, right?
We loved him. I said, it's like Paula Deen. I liked your chicken, Paula. Couldn't you got a publicist to help you out with that answer? Come on, Paula Deen. Now I got to cut you loose. I look at people, man, but she's still out there. It's funny. We cut people loose, but we let them keep walking. It's like we throw fish. Now, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You mentioned just now black therapy. Describe black therapy.
Man, black therapy, we need to get you in a room to help you understand yourself. We need to bring you in a room, put you in a car, and we need to take you to the black neighborhoods so you can see people. Hey, man, this is Michael Richards, man. What y'all think? You need to take the hit from everybody. We need to walk you through the gauntlet so you can see what's going on. You can't hide in your house. If you're serious about the apology, you can't go on CNN like this. No, that's not the real me. I can't believe I said that. If I like the word if I hurt anybody by using the N-word and the B-word, I want to apologize. I had no idea the effect it would have. No, man, I want you to go to the Black Rec Center. I want you to go to the Black church while they have choir rehearsal and walk in. Y'all know me? Yeah, I need you to go in there and do your penance. All right. I need you to do a Black church tour, a Black nightclub tour. And we still might let you cut you some slack. But you got to come to us. You can't go to CNN. You got to come to us. You got to go to BET. You got to go to Black Press. You can say, I'd like to sit down with the Black Press and discuss my racism. And take the hit. And don't say, if I offended. You must say, oh, I know I offended y'all because I said it in an offensive manner. Because like I say, when I say something on Twitter and somebody, did you mean to say? I said, I meant every word I said to you. And if you don't want to come to my show no more, bye.
You sound like a publicist, Sinbad.
Man, you know what? I probably need one.
You mentioned, I wanted to go back to something you mentioned too. You talking about Richard Pryor and he did something that I think even to this day is still underrated or maybe even overlooked. That JoJo Dancer movie.
Man, Your Life is Calling. JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. Dude, he revealed a lot, didn't he, man?
Oh, and played himself.
Dude, to play all those ages, to show you, I don't think anybody else could have played him. I know they've been trying to do a Richard Pryor movie forever. I think they had I know they had Mike Epps at one time.
Yep.
I think they both would have killed in it, but dude, you almost got to be like a Denzel doing Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? You got to be Denzel doing my man the box. You got to go deep in and bare your soul to play Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
You got to bury you because he buried this. Dude, he said stuff on stage. I said, oh, Richard, don't tell him that. Ooh, Richard, that's too much. That's too much, Rich.
Well, what surprised or what shocked Sinbad? What when you hear a comic or anyone doing any type of comedy, what stands out for you? What really gets your attention?
What gets my attention is when somebody's being honest. Patrice O'Neal was honest. I think he would have been bigger. I think he would have been much bigger if he hadn't passed away. Dude, he was just brutally honest. He said stuff, man, on stage. I said, oh, I love this brother. I love this brother. He don't back down. See, some people back down when you say something to him. He doesn't back down. He said, yeah, I said that too. Yeah, I said it. And the person stayed. Didn't nobody walk out? I said, dang, they took that hit and they stayed. So it's like, you know what I hate? Okay, tell you what I do hate. When a comic says something and then they apologize or try to do apology, man, back it up. You talk trash. You said what you said. Back it up. People will respect that more than you backing down with a fake apology, man.
Yeah.
If you say something, you say something about Taylor Swift or something. You know, I've said stuff about Justin. I said something about Justin Timberlake, and I didn't back up, and I went harder. Then I got death threats for the Justin Timberlake fans. I said, guys, I will be at this Starbucks. Please come kill me, because ain't no Justin Timberlake fan gonna kill me. No Justin Bieber fan. No Taylor Swift fan. I wish I would come in the parking lot try to kill me.
So we don't want that to happen. You know, there's a lot of things that comics find some sort of funny in, right?
Yep.
Now, we're in a serious situation. We talked about the pandemic. We talked a little bit about social justice, the situation with George Floyd. What do you do as a comic with these serious situations?
Well, first, when I said I don't see comedy, I saw a black man die. Y'all saw it. I don't know if you know, if you go back and watch one of my, I don't know how old it was, but they hit his brother with a beanbag. He's got his hands up. He's got wearing gym trunks. He has no shirt. There's no weapons. He's standing in front of his woman. She's holding kids. There's 3 kids around, and they hit this brother with the beanbag, and the kids start crying, and the woman's crying. He's on the ground, and they hit him 2 more times with a beanbag. Now, my first thought, and maybe it's not a correct thought, is just, I wish I was there, and I wish there was a bunch of us there, and I wish we handled the situation. And that's a negative and a dark place to go, but that's where I'm at now in today's society. So I don't even come at it. When I put on Twitter, I don't come at it with comedy. I come at it as a black man, an angry black man who's fed up. I come as an angry man that's fed up. Some things aren't funny to me. Now, when I'm doing stand-up and I try to talk about some things, I find a way to talk about racism in a funny way that's maybe their people don't pick it up, my people pick it up. See, I'm not doing stand-up hoping the whole world gets it. You can come or not come. I'm not a crossover. See, this is the word that does us a disservice. When they say we're a crossover artist, I didn't cross over to you, you crossed over to me. I did not try to come to your backyard. You came into my backyard. And just remember that. I didn't hope you would like me. When I first started doing comedy, I didn't know what my white audience would be. I didn't know what my black audience would be. But I said, I'm gonna speak my truth. I'm gonna speak my truth. I remember my dad, I tell this story, when I first started doing comedy, I'm in the South. I called my dad and said, I can't do this. I'm doing comedy for a group of people that hate me and hate my people. I don't want them to give me that exception. Oh, Sinbad, you're different. No. Now you're about to piss me off. No, I am not different. Don't make an exception for me. Don't make that case that we like you because you're different. You can come to my show, but know what you come to see. Know who you coming to see. I'll give example, man. I was doing the show in Charlotte, North Carolina. After the show, there was a young white lady waiting after the show. I was in my 20s. She said, you're so funny. I said, oh, thank you. Look, I said, what? I've never slept with a black man. But you know what? She says, but you're not black. You're Lionel Richie black.
What?
I said, what? Lionel Richie got a race? She says, I don't see you as black. I see you as Lionel Richie black. I said, baby, if you sleep with me, you just slept with a black man. Your mother would call her the N-words, okay? So get that straight. And what makes you think I want to be with you? And she looked at me. I said, we have choices. Now, that's not to put people down, putting down a white woman, but that particular white woman, I wasn't going to let your conscience justify what you was trying to do. I am not Lionel Richie black. I'm sorry. Lionel Richie is darker than me. Lionel Richie's darker than me.
Darren Miles Sr. said it.
I'm dark white. I'm Tom Joyner white. We are the dark white chronicles, okay, my brother?
Look, Darren Miles Sr. says this is a grown man talking. I guess a lot of folks are agreeing with Sinbad. Annette Phillips says, right on. Annette Phillips watches us religiously. We appreciate you, Annette. Sinbad, I'm going to throw some names out at you.
Okay.
Some of them are unfortunately not here with us anymore. Robin Harris.
Robin Harris was on his way. Robin Harris was like the next one. Maybe his kids. Me and Robin used to always work here at the Black Comedy Club in LA, man. And I said, Robin, success is a strange thing. You think it's about to get better. I said, brother, it's about to get crazier. When Hollywood falls in love with you, yes, it's going to put money in our pocket. If you can get your mind right, know this, it will also kill you, brother. I said, you got to start exercising, got to get your mind right, because, dude, you will feel a pressure like you never felt. You almost feel like it was better being broke on the road sometimes because of how insane it gets. I said, but brother, if you ride this out, you can make some money, bro. If you ride this out right and don't lose your mind and keep the right people around you, you know? And I think he was doing it, man. I think he was going to do it, bro. No, that's because our health. We got to take care of our health, bro. Stress is real, whether you see it or not. Stress is a beast. Even right now, we find out who COVID takes out more than others. Our people, it's the reason that black and brown people is hitting it. Diabetes, high blood pressure, man, heart disease. I said, and some of it's not our fault because the way they're showing, even with black young people, their health care. When you don't have health care, man, see, these are the real things. We make jokes about it, but it's not a joke. It's not a joke, but we have to find a way, man, to change this, man. We have to demand it, man.
Yeah. Bernie Mac,
my boy. Bernie Mac, I met Bernie. Sinbad, man, come on, Sinbad. I ain't like you, man. Hey, man, Sinbad, hey, man, they ain't gonna get me, Sinbad. I first met in Chicago at Jokes and Notes. My brother had this comedy club in Chicago, man. And Bernie Mac came out and said, oh, this brother, man. And Bernie played basketball, man. He played a semi-pro basketball. I said, bro, they ain't gonna get you at first. But if you stay the course, when they finally get you, you know, let them change you. And Bernie didn't let nobody change you, man. Your money will be big because you didn't change for nobody. You don't have to go like I changed. You are Bernie Mac from day one. Like, I ain't scared of you, mother. When he first walked, I ain't scared. That day, I said, there you go. He's off and running.
Actually, you know, going back to Prince, you know, Prince used that line in one of his songs from Bernie Mac. It was pretty awesome.
It's what we feel. No, Bernie Mac said exactly because he was scared. Bernie was backstage looking at them like, man. I said, yeah, it's crazy. It's like when brothers come do the Apollo. I said, hey, man, don't tell me you're from LA. They ain't playing that. You tell me from New York. Don't you tell them you from LA. And one comic didn't listen to me. I said, man, all the way from LA, they started booing before he walked out. They started, bro, you wanted that moniker? I'll give it to you. But I know these people. They ain't going to play with you.
Couple more. Dick Gregory.
I met Dick Gregory when he weighed 300 pounds when I was a kid. And I would make Dick Gregory when he changed his life. When I was a kid, he was a comedian. He was eating some fruit at Silver Beach in my home in Benton Harbor. I said, that's Dick Gregory, man. Dick was one of the smartest men I ever met talking about health. Dick was the one that talked to me about foods and losing weight and eating. And I was in the airport with Dick, and he has a briefcase. And dude, we're going to get some meat. He left his briefcase in the chair. He goes, don't worry about it. The FBI people follow me. They won't let anybody steal that. And he left it there. And it was honest. No one touched that briefcase. Wow. Smart.
Kevin Hart,
man. Kevin Hart takes a lot of hits because other comics said, man, he ain't the funniest. I said, well, even if he's not the funniest, would you have turned it down? Would one of y'all given the mantle to somebody else like, oh, no, don't get me. Go get so-and-so. No, I respect that he's done. I think he's a good representative of the people. I'm glad he's making the money. I'm glad he's out there trying to bring other people in. I just wish he would leave The Rock alone. Leave that man alone. Come on, man. He's too big, bro. Let it go, man, Kev. Let that go. But Kev, I'm happy for this brother. I'm happy for his family. You know, he's been through ups and downs. He's taken hits, but he's still here. He's still here, and that's the main thing. He's still here, and he's still doing his thing, man.
And finally, Sinbad, we found out something about you that maybe some people don't know. You are a nerd.
Oh, yeah, but you see, there's all kind of nerds. There's nerds. I'm like, damn, that's a nerd. And then there's black nerds. We're called blurs. So my son and I, we got a podcast called Blurred Empire. Black nerds are always a little different. They can still play a little basketball. They still might play music. We still know how to be in society. Because I would go to all these trade shows, the NAMM show and the NAB show and Macworld. And I thought I was a nerd. And I said, oh, this cat can't be around people. I would meet cats who were so nerded out. I said, he cannot get outside this bubble. And I realized we walked that thin line. Like, yeah, I read comic books. We had to hide some of that stuff growing up because when you was a nerd back in the day, it converted to other words called sissy, punk, you ain't hip. Now you're the one everybody wants to be with. Nerds are running the world. Nerds are doing all kind of cool stuff. They're building the website. They're building the app. So yeah, I took the hit. I took the hit to get here, but I'm all right with it.
You're all right with it, Sinbad. You're all right with us as well. We really appreciate you taking out the time today. This has been fabulous. Keep it 98. Tell everyone how they can see it and when they can see it.
Hit me at Sinbad Bad on Twitter, Sinbad Bad on Instagram, Sinbad on Facebook. I'm revamping it, trying to make it look not this week, but this next Sunday, 3 o'clock on Pacific Standard Time. Going to bring it to you in a new way. We're going to still charge $10, see what happens, man. And if not, we go to another route. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop.
Well, certainly appreciate it, Sinbad. Thanks for joining us. Stay well and stay safe.
All right, man. You too. Y'all guys, thank you for letting me come on, man. Thank y'all for being who you are and giving us the information we need, because sometimes we don't get the information. If we ain't doing it, the information gets tainted.
Absolutely. Our privilege, Sinbad. Everyone, thanks for watching.
Cool.